Conditionality. The IMF has been criticized for being out of touch with the local economic conditions, culture and environments in the countries they are requiring policies reform. The economic advice the IMF gives might not always take it into consideration the difference between what spending means on paper and how it is felt by the citizens. Countries charge that with excessive conditionality that do not own the program and the link are broken between a recipient country's people, its government, and the goal being pursued by the IMF. Jeffrey Sachs argues that the IMF usually perception is budgetary belt tightening to the countries who are much too poor to own belt. Sachs wrote that the IMF rule as the generalist institution specializing in macroeconomic issues needed reform. Conditionality has also been criticized because a country can pledge collateral of acceptable assets to obtain waivers. If one assumes that all countries are able to provide acceptable collateral, on one view is the conditionality undermine domestic political institutions. The recipient governments are sacrificing policy autonomy in the exchange for the funds, which can lead to public resentment of the local leadership for the accepting and enforcing the IMF condition. Political instability can result from the leadership tenure as a political leader are replaced in electoral backlash. IMF conditions are often criticized for reducing government services, thus increasing unemployment. Another criticism is that IMF programs are only designed to address poor governance, excessive government spending, excessive government intervention in market, and too much state ownership. This assumes that this narrow range of the issues representing the only possible problem. Everything is standardized and different contexts are ignored, and a country may also be compelled to accept the condition it would not normally accept had they not been in a financial crisis in need of the assistance. On top of that, regardless of what methodologies and data sets used, it comes to same the conclusion of the exacerbating income inequalities with the Gini coefficient. It becomes clear that the countries with the IMF program face increased income inequalities. It is claimed that conditionalities retard social stability and hence the inhabited that the state goal of the IMF, while the structural adjustment program lead to the increase in poverty in recipients countries. The IMF sometimes advocates the austerity program, cutting public and sending spending and increasing taxes even when the economy is weak to bring budget closer to the balance, thus reducing budget deficit. Countries are often advised to lower their corporate tax rate in globalization and its discontent. Joseph E. Stiglitz, former chief economist and senior vice president at the World Bank, criticized these policies. He argues that by the converting to a more monetarist approaches, the purpose of the fund is no longer valid as it was designed to provide funds for the countries to carry out Keynesian reflation, and that the IMF was not participating in the conspiracy but it was reflecting the interest and ideology of the Western financial community. Stigilized conclusion. Modern high-tech welfare is designed to remove the physical contact, dropping bombs from the 50,000 feet, ensure that one does not feel what one does. Modern economic management is similar. From one's luxury hotel on, one can callously impose policies about which one would think twice if one knew the people whose lives one was destroying. The researcher Eric Toussaint and Dominion Millet argues that the IMF policies amount to new form of colonization that does not need a military presence. Following the agencies of the remove the government of the richest in companies, the IMF permitted countries in a crisis to borrow in order to avoid default on their repayments. Caught in the debt downward spiral, developing countries soon had no other recourse than to take to on new debt in order to repay the old debt before providing them with the new loans at higher interest rates. Future leaders asked the IMF the intervene with the guarantee of the ulterior reimbursement, asking for a sign agreement with the said countries. The IMF thus agreed to restart the flow of the finance pump on conditions that the concerned countries first use this money to reimburse banks and the other private lenders while restructuring their economy at the IMF's description. These were the famous conditionalities detailed in the Structure Adjustment Program. The IMF and its ultra-liberal experts took control of the borrowing countries' economic policies. A new form of colonization was instituted. It was not even necessary to establish an administrative or military presence. The debt alone maintained this new form of the submission. International politics play an important role in IMF's decision making. The clout of the member states is roughly proportional to its contribution to IMF finances. The United States has the greatest number of votes and therefore wields the most influence. Domestic policies often come into the play with the politicians in the developing countries using conditionalities to gain leverage over the opposition to influence policies.